see if anybody else come in. All right, so y'all should be able to see my screen. And we've got some questions to go over. 3.2, 59/29. First of all, is this a test question? Oh, yes, this is a test question. Because this is completing the square. And anything with completing the square is a test question. So I'm not even going to look at, that because I don't care about the questions. We're going to do everything. And then you can decide what you need. All right, so here we go. 2x squared.
We don't see your screen, Mr. McClure.
I turned it off for the attendance. There you go. Tell me if you see it.
Thank you. I see it.
Yes, sir. All right, so 2x squared minus 13x plus blank is equal to 7 plus blank. And we know that 0, -7 is our y-intercept. All right, so now we're going to factor out a 2. And that's going to give me x squared minus 13/2 x plus blank is equal to 7 plus 2 times blank. And yes, I'm going to take my pink highlighter and I'm going to highlight that 2. And whatever I factor out here, I've got to multiply by that blank. Now I'm going to put in a baby step here. I'm going to take 13/2 and divide it by 2 and square it. And that's going to give me 13/2 multiplied by 1/2 and square it. That's going to give me 13/4 squared is 169/16. And on the left side, that's shortcut number 2. And I'm going to go up here with a different color, and we're going to do the right-hand side. So that 2 will cancel that 16 to an 8. So now we got 169/8 plus 56/8. And I have no idea. 224, 225. Somebody help me out. What's 56 plus 169? Okay, I'll do it myself. Everybody's weaned on a pickle this morning. Oh, that's okay, class. I got it.
225.
Thank you.
No
All
problem.
right. Say again.
Oh, I said no problem.
No, I just appreciate you and Mr. Abdallah and Mr. Justice. I appreciate y'all, communicating. It's real nice that you communicate. That's good. It's something you might want to carry over into the career world, communication, so the boss or the supervisor doesn't put you in a little closet office because you don't communicate. So it's a good thing that you communicate. All right, so there is my vertex. And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to write my vertex down over here. My vertex is equal to 13/4, comma, -225/8. That's my vertex. And I'm going to keep on going. And I'm going to divide by 2/1, which means I'm going to multiply by 1/2. x minus 13 fourths quantity squared is equal to 225 over 16. Take the square root of both. Now I saw discriminant. So somebody tell me what this discriminant tells me. Is it positive, negative, or zero? Is that positive, negative, or zero?
Well, it's positive, right?
Thank you. And what does a positive discriminant tell us? One x-intercept, two x-intercepts, or zero, or no x-intercepts?
Would be one real number?
No, two.
Two. I knew that.
I gave you all that information, so it's in your notes. Two x-intercepts or two solutions. Okay, now the only reason I'm doing that is because I saw in the problem, I believe it asked something about the determinant, and that's the determinant. I'm going to keep on going. X minus 13 fourths equals positive or negative. Well, we know that the square root of 25 is 15 over 4. And that's going to be equal to positive or negative 15 plus 13 over 4. And that's going to give us our x-intercepts. 15 plus 13 is 28. 28 divided by 4 is what? 7. So that's one x-intercept. Negative 15 plus 13 is negative 2. And negative 2 over 4 is negative 1/2. So there's your x-intercepts. I'm going to go ahead and graph this using this information right here. Zero, negative 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my y-intercept. My x-intercept is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And negative 1/2. Negative 1/2 is right there. 13 over 4. Well, 4 will go into 13, what, 3 times? So that's 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3 1/4. And then how many times will 8 go into 22? That'd be 2. No. That's not right. Something's not right.
2.75.
That's not right. 2.75 is not right. No, it'd be less. It'd be 8 will go into 22 2 times. So it's 20 something. Yeah, 8 will go into 22 2 times. Yeah, 2 times, that's what, 16? I got 28. Somebody tell me what 8, 20, what's 225 divided by 8?
28.125.
Okay, that's what you were saying. I'm sorry. Okay, so 28 point is way down here. And the domain is all real numbers. Range is negative 225 over 8 to infinity. Decreasing from negative infinity to 3 1/4, which is what, 13 fourths. And increasing from 13 fourths to infinity. Line of symmetry is going through 13 fourths. X is equal to 13 fourths. Now, I don't think there's anything else they can ask you. If you can do all of that, then you can handle 3.1 and 3.2. Let's see what they asked for. The discriminant is 225 over 16. I don't know if they want it simplified. Okay, they want it simplified. I know 2, let's see. I don't know, will anything go into? No, it's a decimal, so I don't know. Oh, the discriminant is positive. That must be what they want. The discriminant is positive. Okay, hell, I don't know what they want. The discriminant is not 225. The discriminant is 225 over 16. That's wrong. Anyway, choose the answer. There are 2. What is that noise, Miss Taylor? What is that? Is that a kitty cat?
I'm sorry, I thought I was on mute. It's my cat.
No, that's all right. Cats are loud.
I heard it echoing. I was like, what in the world?
Yeah, that's the cats are loud. That's fine. Okay, and that's all they're going to ask. So that's it. The 225, I'm sorry, but the discriminant is 225 over 16. Okay, I don't know why they said the discriminant is 225. The discriminant is 225 over 16. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. I don't know why they said that. I'm looking to make sure I didn't do something wrong. Well, let's check it. Let's check it and see if I did something wrong. Let's see what the x-intercepts are, and then now that'll tell you if I'm right or they're wrong. Okay, let's go with 2x squared. Y is equal, let me turn the stat plot off. What are you doing? Okay, so y is equal to 2x squared minus 13x two x squared minus 13x minus 7. Zoom 6 and zoom fit. Okay, let's see what they are. Trace, second, trace, 0. There's the left. There's the right. Look at there, negative 1/2 and 0. So let's check the other one. 0. Left. Right. Seven and 0. So far, so good. Let me zoom out and check the vertex. Zoom window. And the vertex, second, min, left, right, .25 and negative 28.125. That's 3 for 3. I don't know why they said 225, but the discriminant is what's under the radical. So 22 over 16 is 225 over 16 is the discriminant. Doesn't matter because it's positive, and positive only tells you two real solutions. So I don't understand why they didn't just say the discriminant is positive, because it really doesn't matter what number it is. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet. I don't know who sent this question, but I can understand why you're confused. Who sent that question? Miss Babinow, were you confused because they had 225 and you got 225 over 16?
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to get that answer, but
Yeah. Did you get 225 over 16 though?
I don't remember. I don't have my scrap paper.
Okay.
Right now.
Well, I can understand why you got confused if you got 225 over 16 and they said the discriminant's 225. That's not correct. It'd been better if they just said, is the discriminant positive or negative? That would be the best thing for them to do. Next question. These are, let's see if they're in order. They are, I think. Yeah. 3.3, number 19 in the book, number 7 online. And this one says, solve the equation and check for extraneous solutions. All right, so first thing we're going to do is divide by 7. But here's our problem. Seven x to the third is equal to 43.75. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. X to the third is equal to, well, 7 will go in there 6 times. That'll leave a 1. 7 will go into 17 2 times. It'll leave a 3. 7 will go into 35 5 times. Now, in order to undo a cube, you can take the cube root or do it easier. I like to do this. I like to raise it to the 1/3 power. And the 3 will cancel with the 1/3 and you're left with x is equal to 625 raised to the 1/3 power. And you take your handy dandy calculator and you raise 625 raised to the parentheses 1 divided by 3 power. 8.5499. 8.5499. And of course, they probably are going to make this more complicated. But let's see what it says. 8, what does it say round to? Does it say round? Okay, they want it. I'm going to put 8.45499. No, that's going to be wrong. Let's see what they want it as. Okay, let's take 3 and multiply it by the cube root of 5, or 5. Let's see what that answer is. 5 times 5 raised to the 1/3 power. Yes, same thing. So how did they get that? Well, I'll show you how they got it. They divided 5 into 5 times 125, right? I think it's 5 times 125, I believe. And then the cube root of 125 is 5. So cube root of 5, or the cube root of 125 times the cube root of 5. And the cube root of 125 is 5 times the cube root of 5. So I really, as far as the problem goes, since it says exact, right there, it says exact, you're going to have to use radicals. So there it is right there. 5 times cube root of 5. That's a good test question because it's sweet, short and sweet. So that would be a test question on my test. (3.323/9). Okay. Fourth root of 4. 4 times fourth root of x, is equal to 12. So the first thing we got to do is divide by 4. And the fourth root of x is equal to 3. How do I get rid of the fourth root? I raise both sides to the what?
Hubert, can you go to your paper?
Sorry. How do I get rid of the square root of 4, or the fourth root of 4? Or I can rewrite it. Hold on. Let me rewrite it. X to the 1/4 is equal to 3. How can I get rid of raising to the 1/4 power?
Divide it by 1/4?
Not divide it, but how do you? I'll tell you what. How do you get rid of? How do you get rid of the square root? All of you should say square both sides, right? How do you get rid of a square root? You square both sides. Then how do you get rid of a fourth root? You raise both sides to the 4th power, Hubert. That's right, class. What's 4 times 1/4?
1.
Yep. So x to the 1st, which is x, is equal to 3 to the 4th. That's going to be what, 81? Somebody check my math.
I got 81 too, but I did it in my head, so.
Yeah. There's that problem, just so you see it. Let me do this one little thing before y'all. Let me change this. Put a 4. Put this in. There we go. And divide by 4. I did that first. That 4 is for that 4, not this 4. I didn't get rid of the 4th right here. I got rid of the 4s. All right, next one. That's a good test question also. 3.331/11. suppose that S varies directly as the, okay, well, first of all, we need to do a quick review of variation. Okay. So I'm going to do a quick review of variation from Algebra 1 or Algebra 2, whenever you had it. Variation. There's three types of variation. There is direct.
Hello? What just happened?
Mr. Dodge, you have a question?
Oh, sorry. No, no one was talking. It just froze, and I thought I'd lagged out. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It was lagging for me too, man.
I don't know. I guess AT&T is dropping the ball again. I don't know. Pay extra $30 a month, and I ain't seen much improvement. All right. Direct variation. Y is equal to K times X. Inverse variation. Y is equal to K over X. And joint variation. Y is equal to K X Z. Okay, now there's some things you need to remember about variation. Number one, you always need to remember that the Y and X and Z, those variables, variables do change. But K does not change. Okay, so they may tell you Q varies directly as R, and then you would change Y to Q, and then you would change X to R. K does not change. They will give you info to plug and chug. Usually to get K. And then some questions, after you find K, they're going to give you more info to plug in to multiply with K. So just remember those three things that you're going to be doing with these three formulas. Y'all remember seeing this in Algebra 1 or Algebra 2?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to leave that on there for another 30 seconds. So this problem says, suppose that S varies directly as the 2/5 power of T. Okay, so we're going to use direct. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy right there, and I'm going to use a green color. S, capital S, goes in for Y, equals K. And what else is left? A big ass BAT, and that's going to be raised to the 2/5 power. There you go. Now, what does it say? It says, and that S is equal to 12 and T is equal to 32. Okay, they want you to find K. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to write down the formula. S is equal to lowercase k times T raised to the 2/5 power. And they give you S is equal to 12 and T is equal to 32. So plug in 12 K. T is 32. Now remember, exponent over index. And when you do a rational, you got exponent over index. So that means the fifth root of 32 raised to the second power. So I'm just going to go ahead and figure that up. 12 is equal to K, lowercase k, and then I'm going to take the fifth root of 32 raised to the second power. Now you don't have to do this, but if you don't remember this very well, then you might want to go back to the basics. And the fifth root of 32 is 2, so that's going to be 12 is equal to K times the fifth root of 32, which is 2, and 2 squared is what? Divided by 4. Lowercase k is equal to 3. Now, when you're dealing with variation, you got to take that k and plug it back into the original equation. And that's going to give you capital S is equal to 3 uppercase T to the 2/5 power. And now you're ready to plug in the second part of the question. I'm going to let y'all do that. So plug in T is equal to 243. Give you a minute to finish it. So S is equal to 3, and T is 243 raised to the 2/5 power. Well, as I said before, exponent over index, that's going to be the square root, the fifth root of 243 raised to the second power. Exponent over index. So S is equal to 3 times the fifth root of 243 raised to the second power. Well, the fifth root of 243. Well, you can do that on your calculator if you don't know it. If I can find my calculator. 243 raised. Turn it on first, Hubert.
I think it's 9.
I think it is too. Raised to the 1/5 power.
I think it's 2/5. Isn't it 2/5?
And that's 3. So that would be right.
Okay.
So that would be S is equal to 3 parentheses 3 to the second power. And 3 to the second power is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. That should be your answer. Let's check it and see. and we feel good about ourselves. That's a good test question. But you got to remember your variations. Got to remember those variations. And there is finished problem. And hopefully you feel good about yourself. Next is 3.336/14. The number of females in medicine continues to show steady increases. The number of female physicians in a certain country can be modeled by the function f of x is equal to 1960. And f of x is the number of female doctors. So, look at it. What kind of function is it? Well, it's a power function. So that means we can graph it. Best thing to do is just graph it. Y is equal to 0.656 x raised to the 1.379. 1.379. Oh, come on. 1.37. I hate these calculators. Let me just type it in again. 0.656 x raised to the 1.379. And you see it starts to take off. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Zoom. And I'm going to put zoom fit. So it looks like a function. Looks like a power function, like that. And when you plug in 0, you're going to get 0. So it should be its origin. Let's see what the question's asking. What type of function is this? It's a power function. F of 15, let's go to the handy dandy calculator in the table. Second table. Second table. Thank you. All right, what were they wanting? 15? 27.462. 27.462. The mean is where blank female physicians, the means, this means there were, well, F of 15. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. F of 15 would be, let's see, if they said F of 15, 15 is the years after 1960. So that would be 15, be 1975. There were, yeah, 1975, there were 27 or 27 female physicians. There might be 28 because you don't round down. Let me just round up to 28. In the year 1975. Let's go with 27 then. Okay, I have no idea. It says round to the nearest whole number as needed. What is 15 plus 60? 75. Oh, thousands. So 27,000. Okay, whatever. There will be in 2030. What's 2030 minus 1960? Isn't that 70? What is that? 70? Yes or no? Yes, 70, Hubert. Thank you, class. So go back to the calculator and go to 70. $70 is 229.77. 229.770. 229.770. And they're going to want to put a comma there instead of a.
It says the nearest whole number.
There you go. Question. I'm not too keen on that question. It can be a little bit confusing. But the whole point is you just plug and chug and get the answers for B and D, for B and C. For A, you just graph it on the calculator. Does that help on your homework questions? I hope it does.
Yes, sir.
So let's go back to the handy dandy resources. Let me go back to the PowerPoint for, let's see, for 3.3. I think we got to about right here. And remember, when you're talking about, sorry, starting to get a little bit pissed. When you're talking about a power, Always remember that x to the 1/2 is equal to the square root of x to the first power, which means exponent over index. You can rewrite anything, the square root of x to the 5th power is equal to x to the 5/2. You can rewrite any radical as a exponential function. And I think that's what they're telling you right here, okay? You can write any fraction, any radical as an exponential. There it is right there. This one also. And again, that should be kind of old stuff that you remember. Okay? There's power equations. Direct variation, I've already showed you that. And I'm just going to go back to that. I didn't know they were going to go into direct variation with this, or variation with this book. There is the slide I gave you for direct variation. Direct, inverse, and joint. And you can combine them. Usually direct and inverse is combined. So that would be y is equal to kx over w. And then you would plug and chug into that. So anyway, there's that. So let's do, I'll tell you what, I'd rather we do some problems out of the book. So I'm going to go on down to variation. Okay, they only do variation. That's all they do. They only do one variation. Okay. Let's go look at some of the homework problems. I thought they did more than that. I thought they did direct and inverse and all that. So I'm sorry. Let's go to the homework. Let's go main menu and let's go to, I would like to go contents 3.3 study plan.
Hubert, I just sent you one of my direct variation questions if you want to go look at that one.
Okay, thank you.
It's from the homework.
Okay. This is 3.332/12. Okay, suppose that y varies directly as the square root of x. So here we go. This one is straightforward. So we pull up our handy dandy it's this one right here, and they don't change anything. Y varies directly as the square root of x. So I just rewrite mine, and I say y is equal to k times the square root of x. Okay, so the first part of that sentence you can mark out. The part that says, suppose that y varies directly as the square root of x, mark that out because that's what that says. Y is equal to 30, and x is equal to 36. 30 is equal to k times 6 divided by 6. 5 is equal to what? K. And as soon as you get that K, you plug it back in. And then it says find X when Y. Why in the heck do they want to do that? Man, I've never seen them do this before. Usually they want Y. Why do they? 40 is equal to 5 times the square root of X. Divide by 5. 8 is equal to the square root of X. Square both sides. X is equal to 64. That should be it. I mean, that should be your answer, 64. So let's go back to the question. X is equal to 64. Well, I can't type it in right, but about ready to quit. Dang Iranians. There we go. Y'all know it's the Iranians and the Russians now. Y'all know that, don't you? Yeah, that's right. Y'all don't watch the news, do you? Okay.
I look into it sometimes.
Say again?
I look into it sometimes.
Well, you need to look into it every day.
Hubert, it's all fake news.
Fake.
It's what?
It's fake news.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to go there. If you want to know the truth about it, I'm a veteran, and I've done my duty. I've fought for my country in Desert Shield and Desert Storm. The biggest problem we got in America is our news system. Our news is trying to dictate to us how to think and what to do. And that's not what news is supposed to do.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement completely.
It's very true. We should go back to the way we used to do news. They report the news, and that's all they do. But they're trying to tell us what to do, just like Hollywood's trying to tell us what to do, and I don't agree with none of that. That's why I say to hell with the NFL and the NBA. To hell with them. You don't lecture me, son. Anyway, now you go over and spend 2 tours over in Afghanistan, or if you love your country and you want to say something about it, that's fine. But don't run down your country. Don't do that. No, I ain't got no use for that. Sorry. All right. So I'm going to pick one of these, and hopefully I can find another one. I like that one that you sent. Okay, let's see what this one says. Okay, we did one like that one. I want to find one that has direct variation. I want to make sure they don't do inverse. That's what I'm worried about. Let me just make sure they ain't no inverse questions. Okay, these ain't part of the homework. Okay. Let me just go back to the homework and let's see what your homework looks like. Three 3.3. No, we did one like that one. We just did that one. That's the same type as the one before it. Let's look at this one. The City Wheels Taxi Company estimated on the basis of collected data that the number of taxi miles driven each day can be modeled by Q is equal to 482 L.5 when they employ L drivers per day. So L is equal to drivers per day. Okay, and Q is the miles driven. So as the drivers increase, what does the Q do? What does the miles do? It's going to increase too. As L increases, Q is going to what? Increase. So it's going to be one of those that are increasing, whether alpha or Charlie. Probably going to be like alpha. Okay, let's try Charlie. Yep, I knew it was going to be one of them. Now I did it. I didn't graph this on a calculator. You would have graphed that on a calculator and matched it up. I just, being a teacher, I knew it was the increasing function, so I knew it was either alpha or Charlie. Okay, how many taxi miles are driven each day if there are 9 drivers? Well, now we need to put it in the calculator. So put it in the calculator. And I told you that a lot of 3.3 is on the calculator, a lot. So I'm going to hit second quit, y is equal to, and I'm going to put 0.482, or is that 482? That's 482. So let me get rid of the decimal. 482. And then x to the 0.5 power. Delete, 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 delete. 0.5. And graph. And I'm going to do a zoom fit, which is zoom 0, isn't it? Zoom fit is 0. I don't like that. Let's do zoom standard. There we go. Well, dang, it didn't even draw it. Why didn't it draw it? Zoom fit. Okay, fine. All right, so I want to find where 9 drivers. So X is equal to 9. So hit second table. And I want to find 9. I don't know why I'm in the 50s. There's 9. 1446. So I'm going to go down here and do 1446. What does C say? Does this model indicate that the number of taxi miles increases or decreases with the number of drivers? That would be increases. Think about it. If you hire a bunch of drivers, shouldn't the miles increase? Unless they're just sitting on the sidewalk. And is the graph of this function concave up or concave down? It looked like it was concave up. Let's look. No, concave down. It's going like this. So that would be concave down. It increases at an increasing rate. Or decreasing rate. Increases at a decreasing rate. I don't know why they would even ask that. All I need to know if it's increasing, but anyway. Let's go back a little bit further because we already did those 3 questions. Let's see. Okay, there's one. Okay, it does. That's the one we just did. And that's the one we did before that. So I've done the last 5 problems of y'all's homework. This is a standardized test question right here. I'm going to x to the 2/3 is equal to 49. X to the 2/3 is equal to 49. X to the 2/3 is equal to 49. Now, what do we need to do to get rid of raising something to the 2/3 power? Well, as long as I make the exponent 1, I'm good, right? Somebody say you right, or yes, that's right.
Yes.
So I'm going to make this x to the first power, so I'm going to multiply by 3/2. And what does that give us on the left-hand side? X to the what? First power, which is x, is equal to, this is exponent over index. So this is what? The second root of what? 49 to the 3rd power. And what's the square root of 49?
7.
And what's 7 raised to the 3rd power? Ain't that 243 or what is it?
343.
343. They love to put those not only on my test, but they love to put those on standardized tests because a lot of people will sit there and stare at that 2/3 and not know what to do.
On my problem, instead of 49, it was 9, so I just still do it the same way.
Yes. Give it to me. What did it say?
It's x to the 2/3 equals 9.
X to the 2/3 is
Yes.
equal to 9. I'm going to multiply this side by 3/2, or raise it to the 3/2 power. And that's going to give me x is equal to S exponent over index. So that's the exponent, and that's the index. So that's going to be the square root of 9 to the 3rd power. The square root of 9 is 3. And 3 to the 3rd power is 27. So let's check our answer and see if we leave that up there for a couple more seconds. And let's type in 343. And we feel good about ourselves.
Yeah, on mine, I typed in 27 as my answer. Yeah, that's what it said on mine too.
Well, they must want the positive or negative. Positive or negative. Let's see. Well, that's going to be positive or negative 343. Well, okay. Yeah, it could be positive or negative 343. That's it. Because you can have a positive or negative with the 3rd root. I mean, the 3rd exponent. So make sure you put the positive. Try the positive or negative, Miss Hollister. See if that works.
Yeah, it worked. That's what they were wanting.
Which that's not a big deal. That's not. I'm looking to see. There's another one. I think we did that one. Somebody sent the one like that one in. Divide by 2 first. So that'll be the last one I do today. So let's do this one. God, I think I've done half y'all's homework for you. 2 times the 4th root of x equals 8. Divide by 2. 4th root of x is equal to 4. This is x to the 1/4 is equal to 4. How do I make that a 1? How do I make that x raised to the 1 power? I multiply by 4, and if I raise it to the 4th, and if I raise this to the 4th, I've got to raise this to the 4th, and that will cancel out to be a 1. So x to the 1st, or x, is equal to 4 to the 4th. I think that's 64, is it not? No. 264, so what is it? 2 something, what is it? What's 4 raised to the 4th power? 256?
256.
Is it 256?
It's 256. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now I know I just did half y'all's homework. 256. Let's see how many problems I did right here. I did 1, 2, 3, and then I did 3 or 4 questions. I did 7 questions out of 15. I just did half y'all's homework. There better not be anybody not turn in this homework. I did half of it. You're welcome. Now,
Thank you.
we have just went over 80% of your test. On chapter 3, and I'll shut up after this. Chapter 3 is going to be 80%, 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. 10 to 20% is going to come from 3.5. And then if I pull anything, I doubt very seriously I'm going to do anything out of 3.4. Okay, I'm going to show you how to read them, but I'm not going to do a test question out of 3.4. And I might not even assign 3.4 homework. So let's just leave 3.4 for last. Please do not do it because I may cut it out unless y'all want to do extra work. Okay, so we're talking probably when y'all come back Tuesday, we'll get this 3.5 knocked out and we'll probably have a test on chapter 3. Okay? Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
All right. So y'all got 3 sections of homework to finish up. Go ahead and look at 3.5 if you want to. It should be, I think 3.5 is just word problems with 3.1 through 3.3. I think it is, but I'll look at it and see. But go ahead and work on 3.1 through 3.3 this weekend and have a good weekend. And I will see y'all. Wait a minute. I got to look at the attendance.